I'm going to share another poem that's going to be in my new book. This one is called A Note to the Young Artists Living in These Dark Days. Go paint a picture in the rain and watch the colors run, or write a poem while getting drunk and listen to the random noise of empty bottles breaking in the street. Pick up a drum and beat it mad as you dance naked in the backyard under a suburban moon, or drive to the beach and sing jazz to the stars hanging in a black ink sky while wearing discarded rags found in the trash bins of local thrift stores, or get arrested for carving your visions into the walls of public restrooms. Know that the difference between a dollar bill and a sheet of toilet paper is the green ink. Close your eyes and jump off the cliff. Art will catch you. It always does. All right, moving on. And to our fifth reader, who is joining us from Southern California, and who appeared in issues 1 and 6 of the Más Tequila Review, and who I first met in 2009 at a poetry reading put together by Luis Rodriguez for Tia Chucha Press. I think your first book had just been published with him at that time. So Luivette Resto, a mother, teacher, poet, and Wonder Woman fanatic, was born in Puerto Rico, but proudly raised in the Bronx. She attended Cornell University, where she earned her BA in English literature. Later, she received her MFA in creative writing, poetry, from the University of Massachusetts. She is a Canto Mundo and Macondo Fellow and a Pushcart Prize nominee. Her 2 books of poetry, Unfinished Portrait and Ascension, have been published by Tia Chucha Press. Unfinished Portrait was a finalist for the 2008 Patterson Poetry Prize. And in 2014, Ascension was honored with the Patterson Award for Literary Excellence. Some of her latest work can be found on Spillway and North American Review. Her 3rd poetry collection, Living on Islands Not Found on Maps, is published by Flower Song Press, and it was just recently released about a month ago. She lives in the San Gabriel Valley in Los Angeles with her 3 children, also known as her revolutionaries. Luivette, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard. This is amazing. Thank you so much for the invitation. And it's just been awesome to listen to everybody read. I like being like towards the end because I get to just enjoy and listening to everyone, and to see some familiar faces and some new faces. So this was awesome. Thank you so much. So yes, as my bio says, I am from the Bronx and I am a proud Bronx girl. So I'm going to read you a poem that's in the new collection, Living on Islands Not Found on Maps, and it's called All Day, Every Day. The Bronx isn't a resume builder. You don't get a Scouts badge because you lived there today or 20 years ago. You don't come from the Bronx comes from you. And you don't survive the Bronx. It isn't trying to kill you so you can justify leaving it behind, abandoning it like one of the buildings from the 80s with painted flower pots on the windows, making them more aesthetically pleasing for the Jersey commuters as they crawl on the Cross Bronx Expressway, which is always under construction. The Bronx is more than switching your T's for D's when you say water. The accent isn't part of your audition for the next Spike Lee movie. The Bronx is more than dancing to hip hop and bomba. It's Lisa Lisa and Cult Jam and TKA in the community center basement at your cousin's Sweet 16. It's having enough spray cans and D batteries. The Bronx is the way your head tilts when someone says something suspicious. It is in the amount of yos and dead asses used in a story because yo, I am dead ass when I tell you that shit happened like I said it did, but in the end, we good. The Bronx is the original Yankee Stadium and hating on the Mets in perpetuity. It is witnessing love triangles at the park unravel like a telenovela. The Bronx is the ineptitude of the 2 train and cursing Robert Moses when you surface. The Bronx is knowing bodega aisles like treasure maps. It is getting ready for a night out, searching for your favorite hoop earrings and Boricua red lipstick. It means rolling without hesitation when your comadre hits you up. The Bronx is sitting at a faculty meeting and asking the questions no one is willing to ask, because in the BX, there is no sugarcoating. I am going to read actually the poem that was published in one of the reviews, and that was from the second collection, Ascension. And again, like the bio says, I'm from Puerto Rico, Aguas Buenas. And I always say this because I find it to be true. If you're from Puerto Rico, there's certain things that you must be, you have to love certain things, right? And so one of them is you have to love Ricky Martin and everything Menudo. Now I think the generation these days would say Bad Bunny, which is totally cool. I love Bad Bunny too, but there's something special about Ricky Martin. And so this is dedicated to a very specific time, and it all makes sense when you listen to the poem. Thank you, Ricky Martin. Thank you, Ricky Martin, for shaking your bonbon in 1999, bringing Grammy audiences to their feet, giving birth to terms like the Latin boom and the Latin invasion and crossover sensation. My Menudo t-shirt was fashionable again, along with leather pants, blonde highlights, and Boricua red lipstick. Rolling my R's was sexy, my bubble butt admired by girls with ironing board for asses. Guys asked to be called papi. Music, thanks to you, Ricky Martin, demanding more trumpets, congas, timbales, guiros as part of their symphonies. And dance followed like a lover as legs stretched backwards and forwards, shoulders swayed left, right, hips circled, pelvises gyrated like Elvis on Ed Sullivan, body sweated vertically with the horizontal sensuality. Spanish surnames became relevant. Names with accent and the squiggly thing above an N were cool because human resources needed more cool around the office. Because of you, Ricky Martin, Jennifer begot J-Lo, Shakira dyed her hair blonde, Beyonce sang in Spanish, Big Pun shattered the stereotype of the Latin lover, and the Latin Grammys graduated to its own night versus a category. Magazine covers looked more exotic, while tanning salons popped up like Starbucks. Looking orange like a kumquat was the new little black dress. Casting calls searched for the next Latino Brad Pitt on Cesar Chavez Avenue, Tito Puente Way, and Humboldt Park. Thank you, Ricky Martin, for making capitalism realize the power of our wallets. Politicians recognize us as a voting bloc. Scholars dub us a walking paradox as the largest minority. 5 months after your ovation and kisses from Madonna, Newsweek discovered us like a conquistador with intellectual articles titled The Legacy of Generation Ñ. In Latino America, Hispanics are hip, hot, and making history. Mothers, thank you, Ricky Martin, because Guillermos, who wanted to be called Bill, became Guillermos once again. And Susurrus ancestors rose from abandoned graves. Thank you, Ricky Martin. Gracias. Thank you, everybody. I keep telling people when I get really angry, I write poems. I think many of us do. We take it to the page when we get angry. I listened to a lot of good angry poems today, and this one is from something that happened just a couple of years ago. It's called A Letter to Gus, the Judgmental CVS Clerk. Dear Gus, I didn't need the extra look of judgment or the 5-page receipt when I bought my Plan B pill. Yes, I had sex. No, I didn't use a condom. Yes, I enjoyed it. And yes, Gus, I will do it again and again and again. I don't think male customers get the same discernment when they buy the industrial pack of Trojans, extra thin and lubricated for her pleasure. I am tired of my body being examined and decided upon by men who couldn't find a clitoris, even if Alexa, Siri, and Google joined forces in some GPS version of Voltron. So save your visual admonishments, for I am not your Latin Mary Magdalene, although I am sure I did shout God's name more than once. You will not side-eye me for fulfilling my sexual desires, expressing my sensuality, savoring the taste of a man's touch, satisfying my fantasies one orgasm at a time. loving my body under my own terms, sincerely an unapologetic woman. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna close with this one. And it's the last poem in the collection. It's called Didactic Number 8. I'm a teacher, and so didactic, means lessons. And so I just wrote a series of these. And so this is Didactic Number 8, How to Exit a Room. I don't want to just walk out of a room. I want to saunter away, sashay really, sway my hips with invisible saucy subtitles reprimanding you for looking. I want to leave a room like Tina Turner at the 1985 Grammys when she walked up the stairs during the last few bars of What's Love Got to Do with It. Her famous legs, shimmery red dress, and strut answering the very question of the song. I want an ounce of her confidence as she turned away from the audience, not caring if they clapped or stood up, not waiting for validation of her talent. Her naked back, brown and vulnerable, becomes mine as I exit a room, not caring, not waiting. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Luivette, that took my breath away. God, I love your work. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to say that, I'm so blessed to have so many friends and fellow poets who can come together and we can read like this. And as much as I would prefer that we'd be in front of a live audience, Zoom gives us a chance to all come together like this, whereas in real life, it would be really hard to do. I would like to close with one last poem from the book that's coming out at the end of summer. And then I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments. We'll be happy to entertain them until 3:30, or we can just go our separate ways. This poem is called Outside the Box. Not being able to find a job in the university with my brand new MFA degree, I tried doing the next best thing to make ends meet, reading poetry at birthday parties. The first time I found myself tied up and hanging from a tree limb, swaying back and forth as someone jerked me up and down while blindfolded adults swung a Louisville slugger in my direction. Me spouting off haikus that rained down on the cursing drunks like bite-sized Snickers and Milky Ways. Then they stood me up against a wall, bent me over, pulled down my pants, blindfolded themselves again as they proceeded to try pinning my ass with a sestina, which was all good until someone went to the garage and brought back a staple gun. Something tells me this isn't how poet laureates get their start.